Greetings, Rogue Farmer here in North County, San Diego at the Harbin Hills Food Forest. I'd like to share the second phase of the installment of this Syntropic agroforestry system on the bottom terrace here at the food forest and show you the upgrades that I've made since the last video. If you didn't see the first video on the initial installation, then check out this video here. This food forest has been evolving quite a bit since the last video I put out. You can see I put a lot more support species, eucalyptus here, right in line with my other production fruit tree rows. And really this is to create all that biomass that we need in a syntropic system. So that was something that I got some feedback on, was that I had all my production trees in, but not enough support species. Now, I have planted a lot of the Mexican sunflower along with the ice cream bean interplanted between my fruit trees, but they're doing a bit of catch up right now. So I really felt like I needed to install some bigger trees in the mix. And eucalyptus is a great one because it grows fast. It's a classic Syntropic agroforestry tree for coppicing, keeping in mind that these trees are here for the first phase to create biomass, create some shade to protect our longer term trees that will be here in the later successions, those climax species trees, like our mango, our sapote, and our guavas in this line right here. So adding all these coppice trees, support trees in line with the production fruit trees is really, really important from the get-go to create the necessary biomass and really get the system functioning. I've also added some more bananas in the line here, kind of offset a few feet from production line as well. And those will help to create some shade, create some biomass, and really help to hold some of the moisture in too. Bananas hold a lot of water. We have some papayas next to the pineapple. We do have some tropical loving rabbits out here that ate a couple of my pineapples, so I'm going to regrow some of these. You stick these in water and root them, and I'll stick those back in the ground here. But papaya's doing good. And you can see the eucalyptus and the castor I've staggered in between a production trees here. This is a yellow sapote. So about every 6 feet or so for the eucalyptus, staggered in here, as well as bananas about every 10 feet or so, and those will clump out and spread as well. So all the way down the line, planting more bananas, castor, more guavas in the line. Have a couple of Malaysian purple guavas here that'll go in a couple spots right here as well. So let's take a look at our alley crops that we planted about 40 days ago. We can see that we have cassava from some stakes starting to grow in here at the helm. We have the Hawaiian taro that's growing in. We have some lemongrass and some potatoes, sweet potatoes down here. Cane is taking off. This is sugar cane here, one of the varieties that I got. We got a few peppers in the mix. Here we have some more potatoes. Some of them have gotten a little munched, you can see by the rabbit, so really trying to overplant. Got some Egyptian walking onions here. This is the Peruvian taro on the edge here, the smaller bulbs of taro, and that's growing real easy. The Hawaiian taro right here, you can see the difference. Definitely requires more water. Down here we have more potatoes. These were some random potatoes from the compost, kind of like fingerling style red potatoes. We have some horseradish really taken off. Over here we have some more lemongrass here that's growing with all this Okinawan sweet potato. we have a bunch of slips here. So I've been thinning these out and transplanting them kind of down the way where we have room. And these slips, you can just pull them out carefully and try to get the root with them. There we go. Take these down the way and we can transplant these in line and spread them out. So we'll have a lot more of the Okinawan sweet potato along this alley crop row. This section right here, we have ginger. You can see some shoots coming up of ginger. So that's all through here. A lot of rooting ginger. Just checked that and kind of added a bunch more mulch and topsoil there. And we have a lot of rooting. Another cassava that's coming along. Really excited about the cassava for multiple reasons in the food forest system. A lot of people I've seen using this for a support chop and drop as well. And then they'll leave the big roots in the ground. Obviously, that's the staple starch crop that a lot of people harvest, those big roots. And for a context of agroforestry, I think it's really interesting that some people are chopping it back for the biomass, but then leaving the roots in the ground to decompose in the ground and also adding all of that, biomass to the subsoil, so the rhizosphere, as well as the biomass above ground for the top of the soil. So pretty cool with the cassava. Got a bunch of corn I planted in this row along the side. Love growing the heirloom corns. We do have some of the elephant grass that is coming along. So that really took root, and some comfrey staggered in next to that. More horseradish, more cane sugar cane. That's doing well. More of the Hawaiian taro from Kauai. We got some jalapeno peppers in the mix. We've got another section of ginger here. So you can see some of the gingers starting to come up. It's been extremely hot and sunny, so really trying to just add a lot more mulch and biomass, keep everything damp. More cassava. This is the Brazilian sugar cane. That one isn't really taking, but a few others have. More taro. And then this whole section is all turmeric through here. So trying to get that to root. I didn't have the best rhizomes, honestly, with the eyes. So hopefully some of that's going to take, but I need to source some better turmeric. More taro. And you can see where I've been adding more of these Okinawan sweet potato slips, planting them down the way and really spreading them through this whole alley crop row right here. So that's the alley crop. Those are the crops that I'm growing. I added a bunch more peppers over here that were recently transplanted. So kind of shading those out from the sun. It's been really intense. This is like a Thai dragon right here. This is monkey hair mulch made from Tom. So as I'm planting, just really covering all the surfaces, mulch, getting everything tucked away for bed. That way we can really soak it in, hold that moisture in the soil, and give all these plants really a fighting chance in this full exposure. The sun has been really intense, and it's going to be that way for a while. 90s, high 80s, maybe even hit triple digits here. Here in this young agroforestry system, we have some older emergent trees. This is a classic coppice eucalyptus tree here. Fortunately, we had a lot that were established. They've been chopped back, and these are literally the suckers that have grown back in 6 months' time or so. We're going to be limbing off all the side branches off of these trees here to use as mulch. This will be feeding the biomass back into the topsoil, back into the system. And this is our nutrients for the Syntropic agroforestry, as we're not using any other outside fertilizers or inputs. We're using the biomass as our fertilizer. And biomass in this context isn't referring to dried wood chips. We're talking about the green matter here. So taking off the side branches, but I'm going to leave these tall trees because they're also creating some nice shade for some of our newly planted production lines. That's about all I'm going to do for now on this eucalyptus bunch. I'm going to collect all this biomass, take it down to our first row, and really pile it on, because we definitely need more biomass in the mix to really feed the system. Eucalyptus is widely regarded as an allelopathic plant and tree, meaning that you really can't grow much underneath it because of some of the constituents in the tree. However, that's just not the case as far as many of the syntropic examples that I've seen in South America, the Pacific Islands, Australia, New Zealand, and other places. This will most definitely be an experiment in testing that theory to see what will grow beneath eucalyptus, both the mulch and the trees that I've planted in line. Fortunate to have these coppice eucalyptus trees already here in the mix. While I'm growing the rest of my chop and drop coppice trees, I have Mexican sunflower, a ton of that, tree lucerne, bonnegrass, comfrey, and all this eucalyptus. So it's going to take some time for it to all grow in. And I think in the meantime, I have enough eucalyptus around here. Coppice this, that one, some more over here in the background, and some more around the corner. So I'm going to be good. This is not just planted eucalyptus. These are suckers off of a major root system. So I'm super blessed because this grows back really quick. This is like 4 or 5 months of growth right here. It's grown like 10 feet tall. Just gonna limb the branches. We'll wait for it to grow taller. I definitely want to keep these standing nice and tall. Create some shade and some canopy, overstory. So looking something like this. Thinned out, kind of pom-pom trees. So other than the initial kind of clearing, this is the first pruning event. So as I've heard a lot of people in agroforestry, syntropic agroforestry say, be the wind, you know, and that's what I'm mimicking right now. The wind comes through, breaks down all these branches, drops them to the forest floor. And now we get a nice mulch layer. So, be in the wind right now. Filling in all the space. Let's put down some cover crop seed too. So going with the mix of cover crop. We got some New Zealand white clover. Also some sunrise mimosa, nitrogen fixer. This here is the castor plant. You can see it in bloom right here. It's got these interesting red flowers on it. And it puts off these spiky seed pods. Ooh, look at all these seeds right here. So what I'm out doing is actually collecting seeds. Some call them castor beans. They're the seeds of the castor plant. You can see a bunch of the seed pods here, but that's what I'm collecting. Castor is notoriously known as an invasive plant because it grows big and vigorous like this. Look at that. In nutrient depleted and compact soils, it grows like that. So, you know, when you see it along the freeways in Southern California, you think, okay, this is just an invasive plant that grows everywhere. But it's context for agroforestry systems. Syntropic agroforestry is amazing because we want plants, pioneer species that are vigorous growers. They don't require a lot of water. They don't require a lot of nutrients. And they create a lot of biomass. I mean, the medicinal qualities is an extra. Low oasis right here off the highway. Palm trees, a creek rolling through. We got all these figs in the mix under these eucalyptus up here. And then all these castor, beautiful red castor plants. So really, really amazing red castor that originally drew me over here. Then I was just really looking at this ecosystem here. And we have these emergent eucalyptus and then these castor. This is the same thing I'm doing in the agroforestry system, is castor as a support, chop and drop, just the way it's growing right here under all these eucalyptus. Same kind of thing I want to do. To see all these figs kind of wrapping around too, this is really cool. And then we have obviously the palms right in the stream, loving all the water. All right, well, I'm helping to clear out the invasives, as you can see. All right, we made it back to the food forest here at Harbin Hills. Look how healthy this is. It's been about an hour since I pulled this out of the ground with its taproot. It's got a little wilt on it, but not a lot. Look at all these. A little bit of wilt, not a lot. It's going to make it. Maybe these fan leaves at the top won't, but the plant overall is going to make it. I guarantee it. So let's plant a few of these. I have a few varieties. This was the last variety of castor that I scored. A little seedling down here. Up here on this second shelf that's taking form, and I've been chipping away at this wall where we had this shelf kind of dropping off some nice contour. I'm just accentuating, basically pulling all the soil out, and we got a nice bed. This terrace is forming. It's well over 5-6 feet wide at the end here, and we're just going to continue up. Kind of wraps up with these rocks through here, so we'll have another shelf, boom, up top up here, but a nice wide shelf here to plant 2-3 rows. And then what I got going on is, once I pull this all out, we're going to extend all the way to the eucalyptus here. That'll be a coppice tree in the row. And then we kind of got room over here, and I've left some of the buckwheat and yucca, some of the natives that are already here. We're going to leave a little native zone, but I also want to plant some support species within this. So we have our production terrace right here, and then we have room for a support row through here. So I'm thinking more Mexican sunflower. We can create a wind block because we get pretty intense winds coming up this canyon here. We get a lot of coastal marine layer coming over these hills right here, and we do get a lot of fog. It does stay somewhat humid, but then we're also kind of on the edge of this desert over here to the east. So it's a really interesting area, very desert feel, and the rattlesnakes, scorpions, and centipedes, really help with that. So up here on the second row, we have raspberry interplanted with Adamoya and raspberry Cherimoya. I also have some comfrey down below for a chop and drop. Once that grows in, we're looking to get some mulch down, cover crop down, another Carolina raspberry, comfrey, Cherimoya Raspberry. That's a golden berry down low, also known as ground cherry, and another Cherimoya and another raspberry. So interplanting berries for the shrub lower understory, and these Cherimoyas and this African Pride Adamoya down here will catch up to be the overstory.
Then I'll be staggering in some tree lucerne and other support species along with the comfrey interplanted in this row.
Beautiful day at Harbin Hills Agroforestry installation. Planting some support plants here. This is the newest addition that I just installed. It's a nest within the system here. It already had this kind of circular radius along the edge, so I just really accentuated this, dug out the backside and leveled this side. And now we have this nice circular nest area. It's got a nice view, a bench, and then I installed this central herbal spiral here with a non-functioning fountain at the moment. A little bird bath. But down here, planting support species on this line down here. So we have Mexican sunflower. I do have some Brazilian cane sugar down there. We have some elephant grass right here. We have Tithonia, of course, Mexican sunflower, and another one right there. We're planting the circle, the perimeter here. And I have this ice cream banana that is just begging to get out of this pot here. There we go. This came from a neighbor of mine up in the Claremont neighborhood of San Diego who wanted me to help him trim off some banana pups. And so he gave me a couple. So you can see it's already shooting off new pups. We got some top growth. Mulch this in now. Really important. Just to create the right soil biology, to hold moisture in, to decompose all this carbon, sequester the carbon, and so many different functions mulch provides here. What's amazing about this moment is this land has historically been used to produce the most abundance of avocados in the United States. And so this is a really special moment, really, to put these in the ground. So as an extra line of defense, I am going to use a metal mesh here. I don't have the gopher baskets particularly. What I do have is 1/4 inch hardware fabric, and I'm gonna use that to basically line the bottom to protect the root ball, that root system, and give these trees a fighting chance. Some of the trees I planted already, I didn't use them, but I am seeing more signs of gophers on the perimeters, and I want to give myself that peace of mind that all the hard work and these trees that I've invested in are not going to get destroyed in one night by gophers that come along and just eat the whole root system. So it's something I hear a lot about in Southern California. It was a big issue at Tecolote Farms, the last farm I planted in Claremont, San Diego. So I'm going to take that extra step, make sure I use that protection down below to deal with the gophers. Hopefully my cats will continue killing some of these gophers and keeping them in check. And hopefully some of these awesome birds of prey that you hear around here will also help with that. So here's what it looks like putting the hardware fabric down into the hole and just bending it into place. And we can wrap this root ball on the avocado tree, or any tree for that matter. A little more work involved than using a gopher basket, but I think you're going to save yourself money too. Well, the time has come to finally plant this guild that I've wanted to plant for a long time. I'm sure many of you probably know what this is. The most popular morning drink worldwide. Coffee. So this will be the understory below the avocados, and idea is that we're going to shade these out because coffee likes shade, even though right now we don't have a lot of it. We might have to deal with that temporarily, put up something temporary, but in the long run, the avocados will shade out the understory, which will be the coffee. I'm going to double plant between my two avocados. Newly planted row here. We have a consortium of avocado for the overstory, coffee interplanted for the understory, some support herbs like yarrow. And one thing I've been doing is really treating these basins where we plant a tree. I look at these as mini nests. So a nest within the agroforestry system can be seen as a circle, an oval, it could be even a square, but it's a grouping of plants, a consortium that creates a micro ecosystem within that larger ecosystem. And that's what I see here. So we have the overstory, obviously, our primary avocado tree. Below it, we have some watermelons I planted. This is a yellow flesh watermelon. So that'll grow in, help to cover the surface here. And we'll also get some fruit off that, obviously. Off the top of the hill, I planted a strawberry. And then in here, we have sunrise mimosa. This is also known as sensitive plant. And I've interplanted that as a nitrogen fixing cover crop. So this is a mini nest, each one of these little basins with trees that I plant. I look at them as mini nests that can then spread out to the larger relationships with the rows and into the whole food forest itself. We can collect seeds off of this. The sunrise mimosa will start spreading from seed. that's how I look at planting trees. I don't just plant trees anymore. I plant a little ecosystem, even within the row of a larger ecosystem. And then beyond that, the relationships to the support trees and how those tie into the next rows, and, you know, the herb spiral and all the different design elements and components in the food forest. This tree is a real special tree to me. I bought it in Vista, California from Exotica Nursery. It is a heart starfruit, carambola. You can see this new growth, the leaves. During the winter time, these all fall off. It's deciduous, pretty delicate to cold. So really hoping it's going to do well here. It was grown in Vista, about 30-minute drive from here. So pretty similar zone, I think. I think it's going to do well. And it's an amazing fruit, amazing tropical fruit tree. It grows star yellow fruits that to me taste a bit like a lemon starburst without all the refined sugar and all that. Kind of crunchy, has like almost like an apple texture, but real juicy and lemony. It's delicious. So really excited for the carambola to go on the ground.